from our studios in New York City and Miami, Florida. You are listening to The Striking Corner with Eric Rivera and Vinny Scotto.
All right, and hello everybody, and welcome to the Striking Corner podcast. I am your host, Eric Rivera, and as always, I am being joined by my good friend, Vinny Scotto. What's going on, man?
What up, what up?
Well, we finally did it. We finally made it. We are officially at episode 100.
Yay.
Yes. Thank you, everybody, for joining us and being so supportive of this podcast for so long. To the 5 people that listen to us, I thank you very much for all your support. But yeah, no, we it took us a lot longer than it should have, a lot longer than Vinny wanted. It was probably on time for me. But yeah, we're happy to be here at episode 100, and our goal is to keep this going. And my goal, and hopefully, and with some help from Vinny, is probably to keep it from not falling by the wayside as much as it does. Sorry, sometimes. But anyway, guys, so thank you for, definitely want to say that really, we appreciate all the support and everything from everybody. We've had every guest that's come on has, and people have, told us that they like hearing the show. They like what we're doing for the community, and we just do it because, we love it. So
they mostly like to hear me talk shit to you.
Yeah. And I know people like to talk shit to Vinny, which is, him to talk shit to me, which is why I think a lot of you tune in. So that's a good thing, man.
I only say that because a lot of people have said that to me.
Yeah.
That's their part.
Yeah. I know. Well, with that said, guys, this episode of The Striking Corner, episode 100, is brought to you by our good friends here in my state of Florida Kickboxing Academy, that is FKA. They are at 7655 Enterprise Drive, Suite A6 in Riviera Beach, Florida. That's near West Palm Beach, zip code 33404. And the owner there is, of course, our good friend, very talented fighter, very talented coach as well, Asa Ten Pao. He has Muay Thai for adults, where he is the coach, along with Marek Dadas, Jason Somchai. They also have Muay Thai for kids, and that is taught by Asa as well, Joe Mueller, Tyler Matsukas, and their jiu-jitsu coach at the gym is Michael Spalholtz. So once again, that's Florida Kickboxing Academy, our good friends Asa Ten Pao over there at FKA in Riviera Beach, which is just north of where I am here in Fort Lauderdale in West Palm Beach. So thank you guys for always supporting us, FKA. And with that said, for this episode of The Striking Corner, it being episode 100, we wanted to bring somebody that's actually been on the show quite a few times, but he's done so much for the sport, I would say, in the last 4 years, and really helped the sport grow internationally, in a sense, or Muay Thai, not the sport, but Muay Thai in America and the U.S. Federation be recognized more internationally, and our fighters get more recognized internationally, gain experience in big tournaments overseas. It's really been a lot of hard work that he's done with the rest of the United States Muay Thai Federation. So shout out to people like Stefan, of course, and Marcy Maxwell, all of them that actually came up on the screen. But anyway, so Vinny just told me to move back because he's staring at my forehead. You would see that pop up if you are watching the video version of this podcast. But anyway, this is how we communicate sometimes. But anyways, guys, just a shout out to everybody that's part of the USMF. And obviously, the person that we have on right now is the president of the U.S. Muay Thai Federation. It is Michael Chase Corley. We will be with him in just 1 second. So just stay tuned and we'll be right back.
The Striking Corner.
All right, hello everybody, and welcome back to the Striking Corner. And it is official. We are at episode 100 after what seems like 100 years. We are finally here. I know some podcasts that you might listen to have gotten to that number maybe in a couple of weeks, maybe in a couple of months, but it took us a good 5 years to get there. Slow and steady wins the race, as they say.
Everything else with Eric involved takes a very long time.
But we're still here, and we're very happy to be here. And to add to that, we have a very special guest, a good friend of ours, and somebody very important in the world, and it is none other than the president himself, Michael Chase Corley of the USMF. What is going on, man?
What's up, guys? I'm very happy to be here. This is your 100th episode. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you, man. We're happy to have you on. We're happy to... Well, I mean, I think things, we've been talking about a lot of stuff going on, obviously, with COVID-19, and obviously there's a bunch of situations going on in the U.S. right now. But I think things are looking a little bit better for you guys, especially you guys that are gym owners. Things are starting to pick up, especially for you, at least, Michael. You guys opened, how long ago were you guys? 2 weeks ago now, or a week ago?
Yeah, I think it was 3 weeks.
3 weeks now.
Yeah.
And Vinny, I saw you were doing your thing in the park, in the parking lot, right?
I'm doing classes outside in the parking lot because right now New York City, some of New York is opened already, but New York City is just starting phase 1 on Monday, tomorrow, and I'm in phase 4, unfortunately. So it's going to be a little bit of time before we can open up inside again.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, like I said, at least you had people out there, and Michael, you're back in business. How is it? I mean, especially it's been a while since we talked to you, but and especially during this whole thing, I know you were posting a lot of stuff with the USMF and talking about everybody was bouncing ideas back and forth to stay alive, with business wise. So how's it been these 3 weeks? I mean, is it, how are the guidelines there? Because Texas can sometimes be the wild, wild west. It always has been.
Yeah. Well, we opened, I think, one of the first states. I think Arizona beat us by a couple of days. Yeah. But it first started as 25% and just of 25% occupancy, and then just a few days ago, it got up to 50% occupancy. And so when I first opened, I was, distancing my bags. I was setting up everything, all these, things. And then the first day gyms opened in Texas, all I saw was like sparring and people nobody, it was out the door, gyms open, shit, we'll do whatever we want. Yeah. But I was like, man, but I did it for a couple of weeks, and then we slowly got into partner pad work, try and maintain the same partner. Some of these people have been working out together during the quarantine now for 3 months. They were working out in parks together, so I don't see a problem with them working out with if they want to wear a mask, not wear a mask, do pads. But we're still not doing sparring or clinching just yet.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a while before we get back to that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess the thing that we want to kind of discuss, obviously we've talked a lot about that subject during the last few podcasts. And I mean, I think the positive is that at least it seems like people are, happily getting back into the swing of things. And that's great, because there was a lot of worry going on for a little bit, and hopefully, things continue that way. Obviously, we have to see how everything's going to turn out. Like I was talking to Vinny yesterday, because we were talking about, with all the protests and things going on and all that stuff going on, cases are especially here in Florida, cases are going up. But I'm just wondering, is there going to be a correlation between cases and hospitalization and all that type of stuff? Because ultimately that's what they were doing it for, so. Yep. Like if we see an uptick in cases, but not an uptick in hospitalizations, and especially with everything going on right now with the protests and everybody being out, like if there's going to be cases increasing but hospitalizations don't, then I think we might be in a position where things are, people are going to be like, well, I think we're in the clear and it's not hitting as hard as we thought it was, or it's not hitting as hard as it was initially, and things can kind of just keep doing what they're doing. So hopefully it moves in that direction. I mean, Vinny, I remember you telling me a while back, remember we were talking about like, hopefully this thing just one day disappears, like just out of nowhere, it just stops, and hopefully it is. I don't know, I don't know if it is.
It seems like it has. I don't really hear much about it.
Well, it's because there's it's because the narrative has changed, but obviously, and it could be, I don't know, man. It's 5G and all these things, they're lying to us. You never know, dude.
So where do you see the Muay Thai community headed right now without being able, with people not being able to compete, really train the way we normally train? What do you see happening for USA Muay Thai?
Before all this, I think we were in a really great place. I think we were building a lot of momentum. I think things were on the up. People are seeing UFC right now, and they're thinking that we're close to getting back to fights, but UFC is a big player. They have ESPN behind them and all kinds of money, and some of the states are just now releasing guidelines for promoters. And I can tell you right now, Muay Thai is not going to be up. You know what I mean? Like the promoters in Muay Thai aren't making tons of money. The crowds aren't the same as MMA. You guys know that. Mm-hmm. And I just think it's going to be delayed more than what people think. I don't want, I got to be realistic, because what states are releasing right now, the state athletic commissions, is very tough right now, I think, for a Muay Thai promoter to put on a show right now. So, it's tough, but stay after it, I guess.
let me ask you a question. If obviously one of the main goals for the USMF is to achieve the US Olympic Committee recognition, so that when it comes to states we can bypass the athletic commissions. If that was the case and we had the recognition at this point, would we be able to make our own guidelines and not pay attention to the athletic commissions?
Yeah, to an extent, but we'd have to follow our international body, and they've advocated for no competition right now.
Wait, you broke up a little bit. Actually, I didn't hear what you said.
I'm sorry. Well, yeah, you're right in a sense, but we still have to follow our international body, and they're calling for no competition right now. Yeah.
No, I understand that. I was just curious if it worked the same way in a situation like this.
Yeah, we would still we would have to follow kind of what states like Texas. We have a thing where they label stuff as professional sports, and then they label stuff as like I think they called stuff sport gatherings, which I would guess would be amateur and stuff like that. And then they have like camps just opened up, but there's all these different regulations for each one of those. Be tough.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, and it does, as you were saying, Michael, like, it does suck because things were in such a good place. I think we were moving in such a positive direction. Not to say that we won't continue doing that, and the hope is that we will continue doing that. But that kind of like everybody. I think at the end of the day, the one thing that we have to see is that kind of everybody got grinded to a halt.
Yeah.
With the UFC alone doing its thing, they're doing things like, well, you got the talk of the whole private island thing, but then they're doing their shows. What is it, within their own performance center, the UFC performance center? So they're not really, it's not really that they're doing things like I would say as normal. They're being able to like broadcast these things and everything, but it's a lot more difficult. And I think they have
training. That's my question. How are the athletes training if old gyms are supposed to be closed?
Yeah. Well, it's not only that too. I mean, it's how the international, because you also have international fighters, and how are they going to, some of them, how are they going to travel? How are they going to make it? then you get the testing, and then you already had those issues with, one guy getting tested positive, and then, what do you do in that situation? And, I think a lot of remains to be seen. That's obviously because, Dana does whatever he wants, which is fine because it's his organization, but there's certain things that we can't do in Muay Thai to that extent because we don't have that amount.
No, we don't have promoters that are going to pay for all the required testing. That's going to be nice. Like that right there is already going to shut the book on any
for sure
shows going on. Like if they say all of our timekeepers, referees, judges, officials, everything need to be tested, and you need to test all athletes, they're going to be like, no.
yeah. Because I think I was reading a post from, I don't know if you saw that, but a post from Steve Fossum of the IKF, and they were even discussing it. I think they had moved the show. They were planning on moving it to November, their World Classic or whatever. The yearly tournament that they do here. They actually do it here in Orlando, and it's the same thing. Like the cost of getting a test, because I think they were trying to follow the guidelines in the sense that what do they test every fighter twice or something like that. Doing twice per fighter in an event where you're a tournament and hundreds of people are competing. There's just no way the promoter's going to be able to handle that, especially the way.
Yeah. Hopefully we get some better developments. And if any state, Florida, I think would be one of the first ones. So that would be, I'd say, what is it? Florida, Arizona. Those are good. They're in the good place right now, I guess, with leniency on the guidelines and everything.
Well, yeah. Florida does whatever the fuck it wants, man. It's been like that forever.
I've seen the Florida gyms. No, I'm with y'all. Y'all train. Keep training.
Actually, the funny. Yeah, I went.
Own world.
I went to last week to my coach's gym, and I kind of had to send him a message and be like, let's try to do at least the bare minimum here. But they're not really checking any. I mean, he was even saying, I think he was saying, I don't want to put it out there, but I guess he was saying that he was doing privates and things like that occasionally, and nobody was ever checking in or, and I think a lot of people were doing that.
And some of these people that have, this is their number one. Some of them don't work as they don't have another job. This is their business, so
they don't all work for cruise ship lines like you.
Even though, like I said, we're an industry that got hit hard, but some of them, there's a lot of money behind it. So, I've been able to keep that in there, but I'm saying it's fine. As long as you're because I think if you're doing things privately and private one-on-one sessions, and maybe you've consistently worked with that person for a long time, I don't see if, I know it might be a risk, but it's probably not going to be as high as a risk as something, as holding a class with 15 people, 20 people,
Yeah.
So that's why he was saying, he's like, no, nobody ever questioned that. Now that they opened, I mean, when we had our class, I could see people were walking by because right next door, there's actually a Little Caesars Pizza. And people were going in for their $5 pizzas, and and they were just staring in yo, these people are crazy. You could tell. But
you guys got to think about what I think about that I think could happen would be the first thing that people should try to get to is they do it a lot in Europe and then in Hong Kong. I've been in different fights there and I've seen it, but they do it always in boxing is more make it like a gala where it's tables, dinner tables. Because right now in Texas, I think it's bumped up to you can have an 8-person table as long as you're following the occupancy standards. So there, I don't think. We're looking at there's no concerts anywhere. You're seeing comedy clubs open up, but they're doing tables, and so I think that's kind of the loophole right now that maybe promoters can look at. Tournaments, I know it's going to be really tough because that's what it's a general not standing area, but a general assembly area where they're all sitting close. But I'm hoping with some shows maybe in Florida, Texas, Arizona, some one-off shows will happen. That'll be great.
Yeah,
but
sure.
It's maybe it's got to do that, tables or whatever. But it's hard because what sells the most tickets is GA, So if you,
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah. And then, because I think what I guess the assumption is there with the tables is that, well, you can distance the tables, with the required 6 feet, but then everybody at the table would, I guess, technically have to be somebody that lives in the same house, or something like that.
I mean, they're not, they're not doing that.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that kind of thing. And and those usually are the more pricey seats, like you were saying. General admission is where it's at.
Yeah. It's going to be tough for a while.
Yeah. So no,
but I bring good news, my friends. I bring good news.
let us hear it.
IFMA, under the patronage of the International Olympic Committee, is going to have a virtual World Championships starting with USA Nationals July 1st through August 31st. Pan Am's September 1st through September 30th, and then the World Championships October 1st through October 10th. You're probably saying, how can you do that? And there's not going to be any combative things of it, but there's going to be Y Crew, Shadowboxing, Max Fit, and Aero Fit, and these are going to be medaled sports. So it's kind of cool. I think it's really good for kids right now that are stuck and not able to compete and do something, and this will be something really cool for them.
This is a youth world championship only, correct?
Well, the youth world championships was postponed, like it's canceled. It's not happening this year. The adult world championship is pending. They're going to make a decision June 30th, and it's in the United Arab Emirates. I believe it's in Abu Dhabi, but it all depends on what they come up with June 30th. But it originally it's a replacement of the Youth World Championships, and I'm going to guess that most of our participants are going to be youth, but it is available to adults, and then for the first time, there's going to be a Masters division as well for over 40.
Oh wow!
Oh right, I'm getting close to that one.
and I know, you've been gearing up for AeroFit for a long time.
You know it, man. You know it. That's my thing. Although the Y Crew, man, I've got a pretty good Y Crew. So
yeah.
So how exactly? I mean, I don't know if you want to go into complete detail. How is the virtual championships going to work?
Okay, so starting July 1st, Y Crew and AeroFit are going to be video submission, and based upon the videos that are sent in, we tier those and rank them and put them into a bracket.
Okay.
Then there'll be like a live head-to-head live video thing where there'll be like two contestants and then judges panel all on live video. Then Shadowboxing is just going to be a live event, and Max Fit is just going to be a live event, and it's going to be blue corner, red corner. There's a score sheet for it. There's criteria for all of these, and it'd be pretty cool, I think. Yeah, once it gets out and people see what it is, we hope to release it in about a week or two so people can start gearing up for it, because the Max Fit one, it's a little tough. I gotta, they won't be using me for the example footage or anything like that.
What's the difference between Max Fit and AeroFit?
AeroFit, okay, so like Max Fit is like the first round is like a demonstration of like core work, and they have all these different like exercises you do. And then the second round is like upper body, and the third round is lower body, where AeroFit is like choreographed fitness with a costume, 2 minutes, break dance mixed with a flying knee, elbow, kind of thing like that.
So what is it like? So it's like demonstration, almost kind of like that. What is it like?
I would say it's like Muay Baran meets breakdancing.
Okay, gotcha.
And where do you get the costume from?
You can call me. I have affordable.
Man, what we do in the times of need. But I mean, I think it's a good thing. Obviously, I like the idea of the Y Crew competition is cool, interesting, keeping with tradition. And And, there are very, very cool, variations on the Y crew. So that's cool. And then the idea of, MaxFit seems like, it's going to be basically tough in the sense that it's sort of a fitness challenge, Yeah.
I mean, I like the idea of keeping the kids active and giving them a goal, something to work towards.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I mean, I haven't seen any other sports doing any type of virtual championship or anything.
No, it's not. And one of the things I think, I don't know about other schools. I talked to a couple gyms, and the adults came back first to my gym. My kids have been they didn't come back like right away. And I feel like, man, it's just like so tough right now. They've been stuck at home. A lot of them have been homeschooled by their parents for the last like month or two of their school. It's just been really tough, So
yeah,
I think there's something cool to, get them motivated. Summertime. Some states don't even have summer camps available. So it's just really, Texas just started allowing it. There's a lot of regulation to it, but I mean, something to do for the kids this summer, I think will be really cool.
I just think, I think the issue with that, like, is just, people might be, me speaking as a dad, I think to myself, I think, people would be completely open to, let's say, me saying, oh, dude, I'll go, if I get sick, whatever, and even though it doesn't affect kids, but now you have all these like sort of, even though there's that, the rare condition that could, can occur. I think people are just still weirded out, especially if, they don't want their kid to be a guinea pig in the sense of, let's not test that waters just yet, So I think that's the issue there. When it comes to getting kids back into the gym. So this is cool in the sense that they'll be active, and I'm talking because I got my kids at home, and trust me, I would, totally want them to be involved in something.
And look, this is the thing about this is that it's open to everyone. Mm-hmm. And when we do our registration with the Federation, United States Muay Thai Federation, we'll have some kind of we'll likely have a waiver for registration, as just if your club's not registered, or obviously if your club's not registered, you as an athlete aren't registered, but we'll have something where it's very affordable so that it's not some money grab, because we see those out there right now too. So it's going to be something that's inclusive for everybody. And there's some other cool stuff where we're doing. I know that adults may not be, jumping at the bit to do this, but there's going to be coaching seminars that are going to go over pad holding, how to warm up an athlete, nutrition, like WADA, anti-doping. There's going to be athlete seminars where they're going to talk about, are you training in a healthy environment, nutrition, water, weight cutting. They got so many different things they're going to be doing to try and keep people, motivated, active, and, keeping with Muay Thai,
Yeah. So it's kind of like, and I think it sounds more like in a sense of almost like a virtual expo in a sense.
Yeah.
There's
not any sports doing that. Actually, I think it's pretty cool. There's a lot of, the purist, as people like to say. I just think that's just dumb. But anyway, they're like, oh, that's lame. That's okay. But what are you doing? You're not doing anything. So
yeah.
Your kids should learn Y crew anyway. So, I'd like to see Shadowbox too. Let me see your kids Shadowbox.
Might as well do something,
Yeah. We talked about it a lot during this, one good thing throughout this, kind of virtual life we've been living is that people get to focus a little bit more on their shadowboxing, because a lot of times people, when they shadowbox, they look at it as a chore. Like, man, I don't want to shadowbox. So they don't realize the importance behind it.
I was happy the first 2 weeks we did distance bag class and shadowboxing. I love that stuff because it's your core, it's your fundamentals, the basics. Yep. And you'd be surprised how many people struggle with shadowboxing. And it's I always say, if you can't shadowbox, you can't fight. So it's your foundation. It's everything. So
and that whole idea of working on technique, fine-tuning technique, there's a lot of things that we kind of because a lot of guys especially, they when they go into the gym, they want to spar, They want to
clinch.
Yeah, they want to do pad work. That's where they feel like they're actually getting work done, and this kind of takes that away. But it doesn't mean that you can't continue training Muay Thai. I mean, if you go to Thailand, like when I went to Thailand and everything, it's like while you're waiting to get on the pads, what you're doing is either working the bag or you're on your shadowboxing for 30 minutes. So. There's something to be said about that strategy of always focusing on technique, so, and that's why the technique is the way it is, and they're so solid in it, because they work on those fundamentals consistently. I mean, that's the one thing too that I always saw in Thailand, and I think we all can agree on, is a lot of times you look at these gyms that do really well, and they're not really it's not like they're doing things that are like out of the box thinking, man. It's just really drilling the basics and just drilling them well, and just being there. A lot of the best fighters are just really, really good at the basics. You think of things like Yatsen hitting you with a left kick, and everybody knows he's going to throw a left kick. Just nobody can, nobody can stop that. So, that's just kind of one of those things. Yeah.
Bag work is good for hardening you up too. It makes you punch harder, and it's good, man. It's becoming a lost art.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody posts videos of them hitting the bag. It's always pad work and, highlight reels of them beating up their sparring partners at the gym.
Exactly.
It's like, I'm always like, before I start sessions now, there's like cameras up in the rafters and one's like posted up on a shoe over there. I'm like, man, turn y'all's cameras off.
World, that's the social media world we live in, man.
Yeah.
Doing it, they're fighting for likes.
Time and place.
But yeah, so I mean, so going back to, so we know that the virtual championship is gonna, what are they calling it?
The virtual world championships, and I think it's like a hashtag like Muay Thai Connects or Muay Thai Connect.
Mm-hmm.
We got a lot of work to do here in the U.S. We're going to be launching all the information out here soon. This is probably the first announcement of it here.
Mm-hmm.
But I hope people get motivated for it and excited for it. The kids, especially.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to design. We have some of the best people that Jeff DeHillo has put together. He's got a lot of cool guys that are designing stuff, and we're going to put together a cool shirt and just try and get the community going on something while we obviously have no fights or anything coming up,
Yeah. Oh, it sounds good, and definitely to spread the word.
At the end of the day, right now, with everything going on, a lot of people still not working, stuck at home, just slowly getting back into the gym. I mean, why not? Why not do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just what do you have to lose? That's my thought process.
Yeah. I mean, I think the initial, obviously, man, the initial gut reaction to hearing it is kind of like, but, to be honest with you, but at the same time, it's not, obviously we support the USMF, we support obviously IFMA. And the thing is, it's just, the reason it's happening is because there really isn't another option right now. It's not like they wanted to. It's like if they would have conjured this up during any moment that's not COVID, you'd be like, dude, what are they doing? But it's really because there is no other option. It's the only chance we have to sort of unite the community and stay active and kind of at least, like you said, I think it's going to be a lot more appealing definitely to the kids than it is going to be for an adult. But I mean, that's a good thing too. I mean, we talk a lot about the youth, and you've mentioned about how the youth is important and getting them involved in these types of things and starting them off young in Muay Thai. And so that's part of this is definitely part of that, get them started in doing these things and it is competition. It is being viewed by, like you were saying, like you guys there's going to be people from IFMA judging this, right?
Yeah.
So, so speaking of that, are they going to be giving out prizes? What are they doing in that case?
No, it's like a full on IFMA gold medal.
Okay.
They're going to do a virtual podium thing where it's going to be like celebrities and like, you know, former champions. They're going to be doing the handing out of the medals.
Okay.
So it's like they have like this big gala set up for October in Bangkok, where it's going to have like, you know, 3 big screens, a whole 9. It's going to be like it's going to look like one of those America's Got Talent things or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's look real good. So,
well, you know, on the U.S. side, you know, before getting to IFMA, you have to make it through the U.S. championships.
right.
So you could actually be, now that you passed your C-class judge course, you could actually be designated AeroFit judge.
Right out the gate. You're involved. You say you can put that on your judge and referee credentials. I've judged and refereed at World Championship.
Yeah, you guys have been really pushing this AeroFit thing for all day today, man. On me, AeroFit judge, man. It's like I've already been designated. Is the USMF have a? I know Stefan is the head of judging and JJ refereeing. Is there a head of AeroFit? Because I'll gladly throw my hat in the ring if you need that.
If you passed your Class D, we can definitely look at that. Yeah, so that's today is that we were breaking down. We're basically setting up. These are, to me, it's like 4 different world championships. So we had to like set up a crew of referee and judges for Max Fit, Shadowboxing, Y Crew, and AeroFit. And, you know, it's tough. That's going to be a good task for them to handle on who they hand out, you know, who's the Max Fit judge and who's the AeroFit, you know, that's a tough one.
Yeah. I mean, but I mean, you guys are still working on all this, so I'm sure there's like there's going to be I mean, obviously there's going to be like specific criteria of what you're looking for. How are you going to,
It's like when this is released to all the potential athletes and like the kids and their parents, it's like so detailed, like even how the camera's set up, the angle they want it at, the size of this, that, you know, it's all set up there. Like for when you do the workouts, it's like how many reps of this you can do in a time and how many reps of this you can do at a time. The Y Crew, it talks about how you like it has certain movements that are required for the Y Crew in there too. So it's pretty detailed.
Cool. And so just, I guess to go back to, so right now it's in the initial phases when, in the sense of you guys have announced it, but it's still being like all those details are being worked on. When can we expect?
Well, this is kind of the first announcement, actually.
Yeah. Well, IFMA announced it. It was kind of a soft announcement, and they're gonna do a bigger one. It's up on their website, which is, I'd like to go back to that, muaythai.sport.
Okay.
It's really cool because it's now like officially an Olympic thing on there, you know, not officially recognized as an official sport. It's still provisional, but we're getting one step closer. They've given us the .sport domain, and they've even given a national federation like us, US Muay Thai, the .sport, which has helped me like get in with athletic commissions to start, you know, having those conversations about us sanctioning our own stuff. So that's, but going back to it, yeah, it's all on the website. We want to kind of make an easier landing page for the U.S. athletes, like a 1-page, have everything on there, you know, frequently asked questions about, because there's going to be a lot of questions, I'm sure. Just everything listed out there. And there's actual there's already done, IFMA's already done bouts, like demoed on there so people can get an idea of how it's going to go down.
Oh, nice.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, that's like I said, it's going to be interesting. But I think at the end of the day, you guys, I mean, knowing how IFMA does things and how you guys put everything together as well, I think it's going to be solid once in its execution, and I think it's going to be good for, like I said, for the kids, and it's going to show, at least bring everybody together for Muay Thai in the sense that nobody can. We can't technically compete right now. Who knows when that's going to happen?
Something else, you know, it's just fun. You think about all the kids that you have at the gym. It's just like we always say, how many people in your gym actually compete and then compete at a high level? How many? I mean, some of them would not have that opportunity to compete on the USA team as an athlete fighting, you know, A class. You know, this gives a chance for everyone in your class that you teach Y crew to that they could go and represent their country in something with Muay Thai. I think that's something pretty cool.
Yeah, because even some people, you know, I'm sure a lot of our gyms here in the States are people who do it just for the workout of it. You know, so they have no interest in competing. I mean, I have people that come to my gym that they don't even spar. They don't want to spar. They just want to, you know, come in for the workout. So like this gives that group of people an opportunity to compete also.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, no, yeah, like you're right. I think that's going to be cool. And especially not only just compete, it's going to be competing at an international level, like recognized by the, you know, organization that runs, you know, Muay Thai competition worldwide in a sense, you know, so that is like a big deal. And I think that's great, man. And I mean, I think moving on from that, I know this might be not more of a serious issue in the sense of getting into when things, I know they've postponed things. When does IFMA itself, have they had any or given any hints on when they believe, let's say, do they have any idea of a phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 of things or no?
No, I think a lot of that's going to be on June 30th. They already postponed the World Games. That was here in Alabama that was in 2021. It's now going to be in 2022. So, yeah, that's the only thing I know right now.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, you were saying that they're going to have a June 30th call. They're going to see how everything's kind of going.
Yeah, the adult championships, which I think it's going to be tough to host that right now.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, like even if it was at December, I think it would still be tough. There might be something that people can do regionally at that point, but I don't think an international event.
Maybe like you know, like Pan Am's or something like that.
Yeah, just, you know, certain regions that could get together possibly.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be along the lines of what we're seeing with all the major competitions when it comes to, you know, everything really. I mean, the Olympics got pushed back an entire year till next summer pretty much. And, you know, I think IFMA I think you might end up, you know, not saying that that's what I'm thinking they might decide is that would probably be where, you know, things really getting back to somewhat of normal is probably not going to be until summer of 2021, maybe.
No,
not even.
No, I don't. You know, I've been saying some, you know, things and make it seem like I'm in a bad mood. No, I want it by the end of this year. Something.
Well, no. I'm not saying nothing. I'm saying the larger, like the thing, like the adults.
I think one of the most prestigious tournaments that they is the Euro tournament, the European tournament. I don't see that happening. I don't see. It's just going to be tough, you know. You know, it was funny. It's not funny at all. I don't know why I said that. You know, just before the Pan Ams were this year, we said, "Hey, this is when it was all about to get started." I think it was end of February, maybe the beginning of March. This has all been a blur to me the last 3 months.
Yeah,
is that we had a tough decision, and I said, you know what? I just think it's bad. I said we're pulling the U.S. team, and everyone respected our wishes, and I felt bad because I'm like a very competitive person, and as you guys know, I'm like, oh man. But yeah. I leaned on caution there, and then some other teams ended up not going. Brazil got stuck in Peru for a while. Like a couple teams got stuck there because it's like started getting real. It like jumped off, you know, real quick there, like 48 hours, things changed. Just like when this all was happening in the U.S., things were getting locked down real quick, you know. And I was like, oh, thank goodness I didn't send. We have 5 U.S. athletes trapped in Peru, and oh man,
yeah, no, for sure.
That would have not been fun.
I mean, just thinking about this, like how that happened, it's just that's how I see why there's not gonna be any international stuff for a while.
Well, yeah, you just have, I mean, and this is, like I said, coming from, since I work in basically in that travel industry, you're having a whole bunch of issues with, let's say in the cruise line industry, you're having issues with ports not being open. So that's why they can't sail or go. But then you have this whole issue. I think the most important issue right now that people don't think about is there are a lot of, airlines, planes, airports that are just not open or accepting flights in. And not only that, you run the risk of, let's say, opening up too early, you run the risk of going to a country, and if that country says, hey, you guys are Americans, America's been hit the hard, like US has been hit the hardest right now, all of you got to be in quarantine for 2 weeks, before you can even compete. That's a whole other issue. Those are all those types of things, all those type of questions need to be asked, because that's kind of what happens, especially if you're talking about international competition and going into those types of things. And you were saying like Europe. I mean, Europe is
even on top of all that, you also have the issue of the fear that people have of doing things, being around crowds of people.
Yeah.
So I think that plays a part also.
Yeah. No, and Europe, you were talking about Europe. I mean, that's one of their biggest, most prestigious, and Europe unfortunately got pretty hammered by it, and so obviously teams like Italy, Spain, France, which have are very active, are probably not going to be going anywhere anytime soon in that sense. So yeah, man. I mean, that's why I was saying. That's why I was saying the 2021 summer 2021 is saying of like things going back to normal. Although I think we will see inklings of things opening up.
Probably. Do you mean like normal or the new normal?
No, don't say.
I mean, Corley loves that term, man.
But to be honest, it is even if it's small, I do hope that everyone is able to do something this year. I don't know the dates of everything anymore. I know USMTO is September. I know TBA is October. IKF, I don't know, when is that one? November?
I think they said November, yeah.
Yeah, then I don't know that the WKA one was just, I mean, he was trying to do that one really close to here. I don't know how that's happening. I just hope everything is, anybody that gets to compete this year, that's
great. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna get the chance, I would say if you're gonna get the chance and it's able to be done safely and you can travel to the location or whatever and you can do it, then I would say go ahead and do it. But I'm just saying they might be able to. I think you were saying it too, like with the USMTO, that's in Arizona, right? Are we talking about? Yeah, right. So, and Arizona's, I guess, been a little bit more lenient in the way they're running things. You might be able to see something happen there. It's just about that. The other issue is just how many people. Obviously, they're going to see a drop off in how many people compete, but at least there will be some competition for people to try to get out there and do it. So
right.
I mean, now that all remains to be seen, but I mean, hopefully, like I was saying, man, I don't want to keep dragging that whole issue of like, of everything that's going on back in, but it's just like, hopefully, as we were saying, that even though, we keep on hearing cases going up or whatever, but I think what matters the most is, hospitalizations and people actually getting really, really sick, ultimately, health is the most important. So, but if we see people are, able to go along and do things and not seem that affected by it, then I think we can, I think those phasing openings are going to be fine. And I hope it just, as we said before, it just disappears or starts fading out as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, man. So let's talk 100th episode.
All right.
We're like I said, man, we're this has been a long, it's been a long ride to get here, and we wanted to, I guess in a way we wanted to kind of, one of the things I thought was good about having you on was because you've been in this game for such a long time. in the sense of like trying not only as a fighter, but then coming into it and fighting for what we're seeing today with the growth of USMF and growth of Muay Thai and I think it's just so great because at the end of the day, like I said, it was rough because it kind of things were going so well and we kind of got hit with this, but at least in a way, it's like at least we're not alone. It's not like the U.S. alone is suffering this, this issue. It's
been there's some good that's come out of this. We've got more people on our like USA Muay Thai calls. Mm-hmm. We've been working better together. We had the the whole COVID business thing to help out gym owners, and I thought that was really good, and we got a good response from that. And it's just during this time we've actually brought some people together, and I think everybody's like equally hungry, and we've just been positive, and we just keep this virtual world championships can be a positive and just bring everybody together, and just when this thing's open up, go and support it, man. Whoever's the first that can get open, if you're able to financially and healthy, go do it, man. Like, let's bounce back and do this.
Yeah. No, for sure. And what I was saying about like you being in the game for such a long time also is just that, we've been doing this podcast, and we've kind of like, when we've been doing this podcast up until this time, it's always been that conversation of like, when is it going to blow up? When is it going to blow up? When is it going? And I think, Vinny, we can say, and I mean, you can chime in as well there too, Mike, is that the jump of, it's been kind of that up and down, like there was those, there've been those times where, we've had these great, I would say peaks in the sense where, Lion Fight was at its top and everybody was really enjoying it. And then that kind of faded out a bit, but then Glory came in, and not necessarily Muay Thai, but obviously it came in and it had its ups and downs. Then now like with One, you have that, you had Muay Thai Premier League, you had, M1, bringing people over. You had Push Kick Promotions. You had all these different things that were just trying and failing, but and I think Vinny and I got behind every single one, and we're like, yeah, this is going to be the shit. And then, because we were always excited, and then it's kind of been like up and down, but I feel like definitely during the last, I don't know, I would say because I guess, we're very positive about it, but at the same time, in the last 2 years, 3 years, 4 years or so, like this little uptick of, people are starting to get more involved. We're starting to see, more people fighting, more Americans are kind of going out there and doing things, going out there and competing at an international level when it wasn't IFMA yet. It was still IFMA, I'm sorry, but they were doing things by themselves, let's say in a Max Muay Thai, and making their names known in Thailand and staying out there and starting to do little things here and there. And now, you had, the biggest thing for us before, COVID hit was obviously Janet Todd winning a world championship. And then also, IFMA, we were having, great competitions where the youth was dominating and good showings by the American teams. I mean, everything is moving in that direction. So I think for like that 100th episode, what I think is it's like we've even coming to this 100th episode, it's like, it's great because the off and on has always been there, but it's kind of like we've come a long way in that time. And I'm hoping that we step out of this and step out of this, and it's just going to be even better. And I think there's people are going to be so hungry. That's the one thing, like that hunger you're talking about is, I feel like, man, when things open, we're already seeing it. People are hungry to get out there. They're hungry to get out of the house. Right now, they're hungry to get out of the house and cause some ruckus too, man. But let's get them, channeled in the right direction.
They're 2 weight classes heavier than what they compete in.
I
think what you said is right. It's even people that love us or hate us, you can't deny like the experience that this has given people the last 4.5 years of USMF. There's just so many athletes, Janet, Becca, Tierra, Just naming those 3 women there, Jackie, Selena, all these, Coral, an amazing year as well. All these people have gotten over 5, 6, and then some of those people, the first 3, I know I said them first because they've had 15 or 16 IFMA bouts, international fights. This has propelled them. You just can't get that in the U.S. And as the people that want to hate and all that stuff. And listen, it's tough. It's very hard to make weight every day and fight hard international competition.
Well, the question is why they hate.
Oh, that's always, no matter what you do, you're going to have, Yeah. But that being said, it's just like even the men, Asa Tempao, Troy Jones, so many people have, whether or not some people did it just once, just getting the taste and seeing international competition probably boosted their training when they went back home. And maybe they never did another IFMA again, and they started cleaning up and doing well in Glory or their local WCK show in California or whatever. It either breaks you or boosts you. A lot of people go up from there, and I'm happy that I helped with that. They did the work, but I'm saying I'm happy that we gave them a platform because it wasn't so easy to get this stuff back in the day. It was very regionalized USA teams. It wasn't a full-on thing, So I'm happy we're getting a lot of coaches, international experience. I think everybody's in the last 4 years, the level is raising, even with the coaching, and coaches are getting better, not just the athletes. I think it's been really good.
And what do you?
I mean, that's really the whole point of the federation, is to give the community in the country that opportunity to grow. And a lot of people don't see it as that yet because of the way it was in the past. But that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you, and I know the answers. Obviously, it's gone up and everything, but in the sense of, you're in all these meetings, you're talking with all these people over at IFMA, you have all these connections over there and speaking with, the different federations and everything. And I know, we made a splash definitely with our youth. I know the women on the U.S. team, the women you mentioned, have obviously shown, what the Americans can do. So how is it now, like when you talk to them and coming from the American Federation and how they're seeing, the American Muay Thai scene?
They're scared.
They say hello. They recognize you now.
Yeah.
Our opinion, there's some when we come to the table, we have a voice, whereas it's like, what the hell do we care? You guys suck, you know
what? I mean, I don't want to put you on. I don't want to, have you blast anything out there. But I mean, was that in these 4 years that you've been, really working at this, and we've seen this growth, and it's been fantastic, man. And I'm 100% happy to know you and happy to support you and support the USMF and everything that you've been doing, man. Because I think it's. For all the haters out there, with all these things that come back, it's definitely like, dude, it's palpable. You can see the results, you can see the things that are happening. I think what happens is sometimes people automatically believe that, because we have too much here of like an instant gratification sort of society. So it's like, well, if the Muay Thai team for the United States goes to Bangkok and doesn't wipe out everyone and get gold medals, then they're a failure, but that's because they're uneducated and don't know what the hell they're talking about, because they don't know how big some of these other countries have been in this sport and we haven't been. But now, like I was saying, what I wanted to ask you is, like, did you see that at first? Were you confronted with that when you were trying to get in there, where they were trying to tell you, well, we don't want to pay attention to you because you guys aren't really that important?
It just wasn't. It was just not respect, and it's slowly getting there. I'm not saying, like, I think we've done well in the last 4 years, but like I've said on previous podcasts, I'm not, as long as I'm at it or involved in some way, if I'm not the president, a coach or whatever, I'm not stopping until we're like the best. Like, that's the whole goal, is to not just be good, to be the best. But I mean, it's grown. but it's not where I want it yet.
Oh, of course
not.
not.
Like it's you know what I mean? We're not Belarus, we're not Russia yet, as far as not Thailand, not being a Thai country. But it just, all you got to do is go to it. Even the people that have gone to it and they have some kind of thing, that it's usually a personal thing with somebody, but they can't deny the experience of competition. If you're a referee, you can't deny the experience of the education. As a coach, you can't deny the experience of seeing all these different coaches operate, how these guys are holding pads, how they're warming up their fighters. There's nothing like that. And so the people that usually have negative things have never been there, one. And if they've been there and they had a bad thing, I don't know, they had a personal thing, and that happens sometimes. It can't be 100%,
Yeah. Yeah, Vinny has a personal issue that happened to him over there. He couldn't.
It's not good for on-air talk.
He got sick and couldn't attend.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I guess the semifinals and the finals.
You gotta be careful. They cater.
He's just texting me. Is like, dude, I'm miserable. Man. But no, like I think, honestly, man, for me, and I think people that have heard this podcast have heard me like a bunch of times say it. It was a dream of mine when I was a fighter, but it wasn't a possibility when I was fighting, because it was very sporadic, the chances of going, or very difficult for the organization of the team at that time. Right. And then now it's like, that's one of the reasons, and Vinny made a joke about it, but I made a joke about it too, which was definitely about why I wanted to be a ref and like start doing it. It's because like, I'm at an age where there's no way I'm jumping in the ring again, right. But I still want to be involved in the sport, and I love it. And so now it's like, I want to be a judge or a ref and work on that, and if it starts with Aerofit, well, let's start with there, Yeah. But nah, like that's my goal, is to, I definitely, Vinny's already been able to go over there and see, live through an IFMA tournament, but my goal is to do that as well. And hopefully either as just an observer or, judging and seeing that, because for me, that is the pinnacle of Muay Thai competition. That's what it is.
And speaking of that, I had to pull this up on my phone real quick, just because, yes, when it's like, I would say around 140 pounds or lower. Yes, obviously Thai stadiums is, second to none, but there are very good Thais that are in the IFMA tournament. So there's like this thing where it's like, oh, it's not this, like, can I read off some people here? Manasak, Kanansuk, Chawatsana, Kim, everybody knows Kim sits on Penong, Yod Clive, Vitaly Gurkov, Jimmy Vano, Yodwicha, Artem Levin, Yod Clive, Pet Bunchu, Superbon, Artur Kashenko, Andrei Kulibin. That's men. That's just men, yeah. Female, Sophia Olofsson, Neely Block, Alina Leshkev, Loma, Valentina, Antonina, Salsing, Joanna, Lomani, like,
yeah.
Come on, man.
It's a who's. And the funny thing is, it's like a who's who of people that right now are known, even in the MMA world, like here in America. Like if you don't understand who those people are, before, if you didn't know who they are, well, those people jumped into MMA and were just like, especially on the female side, and are destroying people. Joanna, Valentina, like those are people that, they went from having these records and fighting in IFMA before, and that has taken them to where they are today at that level in the UFC and in other like in one championship as well, in other organizations, in large organizations.
These are people that are Lumpini and Raja Stadium champions.
Exactly.
So like, come on. I get that sometimes where it's like, oh, it's not real Muay Thai. I'm like, yeah, it's not real Muay Thai.
Yeah.
It's not.
But I want to know what gives someone the right to say that, like, it's not real. Is it because you're wearing full gear?
Yeah, you have to. You have to. When you fight 6 times in a week, you have to wear gear, because it's a tournament, and if you your shins get split open, your eyes get cut open. Like, this is just because you're fighting 6 times, So it's not a big argument with me. If you go, you see, you ask the athletes themselves. I think Jeff DeHillo's got a documentary coming out where he talks to all of these athletes. They'll tell you, it's tough. So those people, it's okay. They're in that frame. That's cool. It's okay.
Yeah, man. I mean, like,
we're not going to get everybody. We're not going to be everybody. So.
Yeah, because I always feel I always think to myself, well, you mentioned Yadson Clay, and I've always been a fan of him, and I'm feeling like whether that kick is fucking padded or not, I don't want to get hit with that shit. No. So like it's real Muay Thai when, like, if you get kicked in the head and knocked out, it doesn't matter if it was padded or not. That was real Muay Thai right there, man. Like, so.
And to be honest, I saw the pads that IFMA uses up close and personal, and they're really not much of a pad.
Yeah. No. I mean, I think they're more like what you were saying, Michael. It's more to avoid cuts than it is really to avoid anything else. Yeah. That's what it is. It's to avoid cuts and and possibly a little bit of bruising and things like that. So just to extend your ability to continue on in the tournament. But besides that, you are fighting real Muay Thai and you're fighting the best in the world. So, and I've seen those comments on Facebook here and there and in other places.
I used to get upset, but now I'm past it.
Where they'd be like, no, it's not real Muay Thai. Like, I've never fought with pads. Like, that's some sort of badass realization that badass thing that you've never fought with pads before. When it's like, yeah, but where have you fought, man? Did you, like, if you fought in some local tournament, not taking away from local tournaments, or local shows here in America, not fighting with pads there is very different than not fighting with pads in something that's a world-class event, man. Or fighting against a world-class fighter. And if you fight with pads with a world-class fighter, you might be, surprised how difficult it'll be. Oh, man. I think we can go on for hours about all this stuff, dude.
Stop.
I'm trying to get you riled up, man.
No, I used to, honestly. I used to get really fired up, but now I just realized, honestly, the best thing for me. I mean, I'd be at the tournaments. You could ask some of the people. I would be, I would have like these, like, I'd have to like sit down. I couldn't. I'd be so riled up, or anxiety, or just everything all accumulated. But the best thing I've learned from this is I just can't make everyone happy, and just try. You do things, and some people just aren't going to be happy with it, and that's just how it is. We're not going to make everybody happy, but I think the majority of people have enjoyed their experiences. And if someone voices it to me in a professional way, which some have, I've made the changes to make it better for them. So that's all I can do. I used to get really pissed off. Y'all probably see me on Messenger before, like, mother. But no, I don't even comment on things anymore. There's been some stuff. Was it this year, or was it this year into 2019, where people say stuff about selection teams and all that stuff. I'm not even gonna say their name. It's not worth it. All these people have my phone number. I'm the only person that, of all these heads of organizations, I post my phone number. It's the same number as my gym number. 832-326-6453. You can call me it's the Muay Thai hotline. Call me and give me your grievances. And some have, only like a couple people. And they actually were like, man, I'm glad I talked to you. I kind of understand now. I'm like, cool. The people that go online and do all that stuff, that's great. It doesn't do anything for the advancement of Muay Thai. We can all talk to each other. I could call Vinny, I can call you, and it'll get better sorted that way than starting up a whole chain of comments and craziness. So
yeah. And I think that's always the problem with social media too, is that you can never, especially, and it's the same problem with texts and things like that sometimes, is that you can't account for tone. So you don't even know, like, sometimes somebody might just have written something and they're not even angry, and then you think they're angry, and then it's like a back and forth that way too. And but yeah, and there's a lot of things that can be lost in when you're writing something to somebody that, it's very different speaking to someone. But that's kind of like where we live in right now, is where everyone will just air their grievances online before they'll actually like reach out and call somebody about it.
Right.
You know,
or
and
even
then
think about it themselves.
yeah. Yeah, man. But I mean, it's just, you know, that's what it is. And that's why, I mean, I've never understood. I mean, well, you know what? No, I do understand the whole idea of the problems with this, you know, not the selection committee at one point and all that. But we've said it here on the podcast that, like, you know, you're trying to be, and everyone's trying to be as clear as possible. But the problem with fighters sometimes that I think happens is that everybody thinks they're a world beater, man. And
well, that's the thing, is that we're still trying to educate all the levels. All those athletes I named, I could tell you that aside from Yotsin and like Kim, 80% of Muay Thai people in America don't know who those people are, and I can tell you they're very dangerous. And just because you're like 11-2 as an amateur, I'm telling you, these guys have, you know, 150 IFMA style fights, but also have 50 pro style fights. And listen, I don't do this to like say, you know, let's just give them that chance. Let's give them that chance in a lower level tournament, maybe a Pan Am or, you know, something like that. But let's not send them to the world championships. It's just not, it doesn't pan out well.
No, for sure.
Get your numbers up.
And then it ends up actually hurting the athlete, you know. I've seen it happen, you know. So,
you know, somebody getting like knocked out or just completely dominated will break them, and I think that's part of. I mean, you also, obviously, you're a coach aside from being the president of the USMF, but you're also a coach, and you've also been there, and you've also officiated at. You know, you know that at the end of the day, you're trying to protect somebody, and a lot of times with fighters, you got to protect them from themselves, because there's guys who'll say, "Oh, dude, I'll fucking fight Tyson in his prime," and you're like, "Nah, dude, no."
Yeah, well, some of the coaches, they want that USA jacket. You know what I mean? So but it's all good, man. We got a good thing going. I'm glad you guys are doing good. I enjoy listening to your guys' podcast. Everyone in USA Muay Thai should listen to it. It's a good thing. I'm glad that you guys made it to 100. Which one was the one at TBA, the round table? That was a wild one.
That was like,
but to be honest, it was technically in days and time a long time ago, but it was less than 10 episodes ago, because
oh wow,
Eric is a very big I'm going to stop there. But the reason why after 5 years, when we're supposed to be doing a bi-weekly podcast, that we're only at episode 100 is because Eric is I'll stop there.
Yeah. Hardworking man. He's a hardworking man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. you fill in the blank. But yeah, so hopefully we can reach 200 a lot sooner than we reached 100.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the goal. Actually, I would say if Vinny hadn't stepped in at some point, which he was like episode 15 really, or episode 12 was when Vinny started working with me. I don't think this would have ever gone as long as it did. So, you know, I
don't think it would have ever started after 10.
Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely moved in that direction, and it's always kind of like, oh, we'll try to do it. And until Vinny was just like, yeah, let's, I mean, even with like the video ones, you know, the video podcast now, we were kind of thinking, oh, we'll wait until 100. And the point is, like, why wait? You know, let's just start doing it now. So, no, man, we're definitely going to keep up. We're definitely going to keep talking to you guys and see what you guys are doing, and obviously follow all the USMF, you know, and we take sometimes advice from you, Corley.
Really have much of a choice to follow.
You know, we take advice from you, Corley, and some other people within the USMF about, you know, hey, you know, look out for this guy or look out for this girl, and maybe we should get her on the podcast, you know, and, you know, because, I mean, it used to be very focused. I think we would say, you know, it used to be very focused. We were trying to get the best of the best on the podcast, but you realize after a while that isn't always the best story. So, you know, and a lot of times they're not always the best interviews because they've been there, done that. They've probably done a lot of stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And so really the ones that are coming up and are hungry, and we've had a lot of great podcasts with those hungry fighters that are just now getting started and kind of tell their story of how they do, because they inspire the other ones. They inspire the younger ones, the younger generation that's coming up, and that's, I think that makes for better listening for a lot of people, and it's more relatable.
Yeah, they got to believe that it's something they can do.
How many times have you been on now?
Me a couple. And then I think I had to help Becca because she can't speak. She's not a very good like public speaker. And I was on the round table, the infamous round table one.
Yeah.
And I think we had one with just you on it also before.
Yeah,
that.
I think I did a couple.
And then another one with you and Patrick.
Yeah, there was the Pat.
YDL.
Yeah, so he's been on like 4 or 5 times already.
Yeah.
I think you've been our most our MVP. You've been our most valuable.
I have the most views because it's like 5 podcasts combined as one. But it's like some people have like one and they're like
No, for sure. But no, I mean, I think at the end of the day, I think you've done a lot. Like, we bring you on because you've done a lot of stuff. You also impart like really good knowledge of sort of the operating. It's because at the end of the day, you kind of want to look at. We always look at YouTube. Muay Thai as just the singular act of being in the ring. The fight. It's the fight only, and then and Vinny's called me out on it sometimes, which, like I say, I appreciate too. Where he'll be like, "Hey man, we're always asking the same questions to the fighters. It's the same thing over and over again."
Yeah.
So it definitely it gets to a point too where you ask the coaches the same thing, and really it's Muay Thai has everything, so you bring in the guys that cover the sport. We had Jeff on, who comes with a totally different perspective because he's coming at it from the creative point of view and how to maximize the views via social, and via the digital side of things. And then, promoters, and you obviously moving all the pieces when it comes to trying to get this thing, our team internationally recognized, and making sure we are picking the correct people to go and represent, and making sure we have a good standing internationally. So I think there's a lot of moving pieces, and it's really important to have those conversations. And I'm happy with where we're at, and I hope the goal is to continue doing it.
Right on.
All right, man. Well, we won't keep you any longer. I know you got a lot of stuff to do.
Be on the lookout, guys. Virtual World Championships.
Oh, for sure.
Athlete, if you're a coach, there's going to be something for everybody. Education for coaches, parents, athletes. There's going to be something for everybody. Like you said, it's going to be like a big old Muay Thai virtual expo. So be on the lookout. And thank you guys for having me on.
Sure. And can you just, I guess, for the whole for the Virtual World Championships, give us some dates to look out for?
July 1st. Through July 15th will likely be the video submission portion of the in the registration. So we'll announce it next week. Okay. But July 1st through the 15th will likely be the video submission for those events and registration. And then we'll get started, I think, the first week of August, because we're going to do 2 weeks of video review and putting the things into brackets and everything. And then like every weekend in August, up until the 22nd, there's going to be something going on. Like one weekend will be, because I imagine Y Crew and Shadowboxing will have a lot more entries than Aerofit, but I may be wrong, and Max Fit, but we're allocating possibly 4 weekends for that, and then Max Fit and Aerofit just 1 weekend. So we'll see.
Okay, cool. So, I mean, we'll keep in touch with you offline, obviously, and any updates and stuff like that, we'll announce them on future podcasts as well, and keep everybody up to date on the World Championships. So remember that, guys, they're coming up, World Championships. Stay involved. Showcase the skills that you have and that you've built throughout this entire downtime. And keep on working and keep on supporting the sport. And Michael, man, it's as always, man, awesome to talk to you. We appreciate everything you're doing with the sport, man. And
before we go, aside from your personal phone number, how can people find you?
Oh man, my Instagram handle was, I only claimed it as USA Muay Thai just so in the future we could eventually put it towards USMF. So I used to be at USA Muay Thai. That's now the USMF's handle. But me is Corley. At Corley HMT. So Corley HMT is the Instagram, and then Facebook, Michael Chase Corley. I'm on there. Email m.corley@usamuaythai.sport.
Awesome. All right.
Cool.
Great, man. And what about Tinder?
Oh man.
All right, man. So I awesome to have you on. Like I said, we appreciate everything you're doing for the sport, and we'll talk to you again soon. And yeah, man, let's blow this thing up with a virtual world championship, and then hopefully soon all of our athletes everywhere will start being able to compete. And if you get the chance to do it in the states that can do it, let's start rocking, man, and let's start doing it.
Do it. Thank you, guys.
Man, thank you.
Muay Thai คือชีวิต
All right, everybody. A big thank you once again to Michael Chase Corley, President of the United States Muay Thai Federation. Once again, like I always say, done a lot of great stuff for the sport. Always good to talk to him. Doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes. And, really happy to have him on this podcast, especially celebrating with us 100 episodes. And really, that's just 100 episode is not really, honestly, it's a big milestone when it comes to when you think about the numbers. But in the podcast world, it's really kind of just getting started still. So we're going to keep doing this, keep talking to people, keep talking to sport. I know that as we continue going on with time, we're probably going to meet new fighters. There's going to be new young people coming up in the game, and we can't wait to talk to everybody as they start stepping into this sport. And I know there's going to be more opportunities after all this COVID stuff is over. There's going to be more opportunities for our fighters. There's going to be more opportunities there's going to be more wins. There's going to be more titles. There's going to be a lot of great stuff happening for US Muay Thai. So we're happy, and we will be a part of that always. So thank you guys for listening. So with that all said, guys, our social media, as you can see there at the ticker on the bottom, if you are watching the podcast on YouTube, we are available on YouTube, and our social media is at Striking Corner on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and our website is strikingcorner.com. As for my personal Instagram, you can catch me at @EricRivera_TSC. Vinny, how can they get in touch with you?
You can get in touch with me on Instagram at Vinny Scotto, or email vinny@strikingcorner.com.
Awesome, man. So, thank you everyone for listening to the podcast. We are also available, like we said, on YouTube, but we're available where all podcasts are found. And if you can, please do us a favor, leave us a rating. If you guys that follow us on Apple Podcasts, leave us a rating, leave us a comment. It helps us grow within Apple Podcasts, which is the largest podcast database, and helps us grow within their library. But with that said, guys, thank you for the support through all these episodes, and we'll continue talking to you. And Vinny will continue talking shit to me on the podcast, which I know you guys enjoy. And that's it. Thank you very much for listening. We'll talk again soon.
You've been listening to The Striking Corner with Eric Rivera and Vinny Scotto.